dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke, and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom. Today in standard 5th EVS, we'll be learning the topic evolution, and in the EVS part 2, we have already learned the topic what is history and concept of time, then the life on earth. In that topic we discuss about the life on earth or the formation of the earth and the beginning of life on earth. So now today in the topic evolution, we are going to talk about the concept of evolution, the stages of evolution of animals and apes. So the first point in this topic, the concept of evolution. The word evolution is generally understood to mean gradual and continuous change. Now here you people just try to understand the meaning of the word evolution, which is nothing but the change. But how? The change which is gradual and continuous. Whenever there is change which is gradual and continuous, then it is called evolution. And now here in this topic, we are going to talk this with the life. So in the process of survival by adapting to environmental changes. In the process of survival by adapting to environmental changes, certain internal physical changes occur in some animals of species. Environmental changes, which is very important word here. हम देखते हैं कि अलग अलग इन्वायरमेंटल चेंजेस होते रहते हैं और इसके लिए कुछ हज़ारों साल लगते हैं, फिर कई 100 सालों में ये चेंजेस होते हैं, या फिर कई बार हमें हमारी लाइफ में ये सारे चेंजेस दिखाई देते हैं. बट इट इज़ वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट टू अडॉप्ट विद दिस चेंजेस. अगर हम एकदम छोटी लेवल की बात करेंगे तो गर्मी होती है, गर्मी का सीज़न, देन द विंटर सीज़न एंड देन द मानसून. तो इन सारे जो सीज़न है इनके साथ हम अडॉप्ट कर लेते हैं, हमारी बॉडी उनके साथ अडॉप्ट कर लेती है. हम गर्मी में भी रह लेते हैं और हम ठंडी में भी रह लेते हैं. बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट environmental changes, then adaptation, which is very important, and in the process of change in environment, certain internal physical changes occur in some animal species. So in this, over a period of time, these internal changes become inherited characteristics seen in all following generations. Over a period of time, these internal changes become inherited characteristics seen in all following generations. एक बार अगर कोई चेंज हो गया तो वो फिर कंटिन्यू दिखता है हमें आगे वाली जनरेशन में भी. And thus new species with characteristics different from the original may be created. जैसे जैसे continuous और gradual change होता जाएगा and with the change in environment animals में adaptation हो जाएगा, तो कुछ characteristics change होते हैं और कई बार हमें पुराने animal से एक नया species उसमें से मिल जाता है. For example, you can see here, such a species is usually more evolved than the original one. Here you can see the modern horse, how it is evolved, which is more evolved than the original one. This one is the original here, and this one is the evolved. Next thing, the first scientist to give us a systematic explanation of the concept of evolution was Charles Darwin. First time he put forward the theory of evolution, and species which are capable of adapting to environmental changes are able to survive. This survival of the fittest theory given by Charles Darwin in the book on the origin of species. So, who was Charles Darwin? Charles Darwin was the first scientist to give us a systematic explanation of the concept of evolution. Now here, species which are capable of adapting to environmental changes are able to survive. Now the word adaptation and survival. An adaptation is any heritable trait that helps an organism such as plant or animal survive and reproduce its environment. So in the adaptation, there is change in the internal or external characteristics of the animal, and because of the changes, animal can survive with the changing environment. For example, or the best example of this is the camel. Camel survived in the changing atmosphere because camel could adapt with the environment. For example, humps to store food as fat to provide energy for long periods of time in desert. Long eyelashes to keep sand out of eyes. Thin nostrils that can be closed to prevent sand blowing in. Then the long muscular legs that allow camels to walk for miles across the desert. Leathery knees to help prevent burning when kneeling on hot sand. Wide feet help to spread the camel's weight and make it easier to walk on sand. Leathery pads protect from heat and act like snowshoes to help prevent it sinking. Very long intestine. Here you can see very long intestine to reabsorb as much water as possible from foods eaten, and the thick fur to keep the sun's heat away during the day but provide warmth at night. All these are the adaptations by camel to survive with the change in the environment. अगर ये सारे चेंजेस कैमल में नहीं होते तो शायद कैमल डेजर्ट की गर्मी में नहीं रह पाते, वो एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाते. बट बिकॉज ऑफ द एडाप्टेशन कैमल सर्वाइव्ड. एंड द नेक्स्ट थिंग, the ones that cannot do so become extinct in the process of evolution. Just now we saw species which are capable of adapting to environmental changes are able to survive, जिनके लिए पॉसिबल है अडेप्टेशन करना विद द चेंजिंग इन्वायरमेंट, दे कैन सर्वाइव, वो जी लेते हैं, और जिनको ये नहीं जमता है वो फिर एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाते हैं, नहीं रह जाते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू कैन सी हियर causes of extinction, here the number of species and the reasons behind that. But in this, the most important word or the very important example of dinosaur. In ancient times, there were many species of a type of animal called dinosaur. Here, dinos in Greek, which means terrible, and saurs, which means reptile. So, dinosaur, which means terrible, lizard. Now we can see dinosaurs in only museums, in the picture or in the films. Some of these dinosaurs were enormous in size. It appears that these species of enormous dinosaurs suddenly became extinct, and some sudden natural disaster or environmental change believed to be responsible for their extinction. वो अपने आप को एडप्ट नहीं कर पाए, एडाप्टेशन उनमें नहीं हुआ, तो वो नहीं बच पाए. Fossils of dinosaurs with wings have been discovered. It is believed that some species of two-legged, here you can see, two-legged and winged dinosaurs evolved into birds. So all these were the natural changes, and today also the process is कंटिन्यू. जैसे जैसे एटमॉस्फेयर चेंज हो जाता है, हमारे अंदर कुछ ना कुछ बदलाव होते हैं ताकि हम उस एटमॉस्फेयर के साथ अपनी बॉडी को अडॉप्ट कर सकें. नाउ द नेक्स्ट थिंग इन दिस, द स्टेजेस ऑफ एवोल्यूशन ऑफ एनिमल्स. वी हैव लर्नड इन द प्रीवियस लेसन दैट लाइफ ऑन अर्थ began with unicellular organisms known as protozoa. Unicellular, which means of only one cell. About this you have already learnt in detail in the topic life on earth. Then next to the unicellular, these unicellular organisms gave rise to multicellular living things. पहले unicellular बने, एक सेल वाले, फिर उनसे बहुत सारी सेल्स वाले, that is called multicellular living things. In unicellular organisms that are made of only one cell, here you can see, and the multicellular organisms that are made of more than one cell, एक से ज़्यादा. And then with these multicellular, the multicellular organisms evolved gradually, and various classes of plants and animals came into being. This is the simple thing to understand evolution of animals. Single cellular, that is unicellular, then multicellular, and then plants and animals. Unicellular organisms that only have a single cell, in that amoeba, bacteria and paramecium. In multicellular organisms consisting of many cells, which includes plants and animals. Now in this, the next thing, in the stages, we are going to talk about the different stages, and in this, the first one, invertebrates. Animals without a backbone are called invertebrates. Animals without a backbone are called invertebrates, and here you can see on the screen examples of invertebrates: bee, slug, snail, ant, scorpion, worm, butterfly, jellyfish, octopus, spider. All these are the examples of invertebrate animals. And the vertebrates, exactly opposite to the invertebrates. Animals which have a backbone are called vertebrates. In these, human beings are also included. Here now on the screen again you can see the images of the vertebrates. Next thing, or the next stage of evolution of animals, that is aquatic. Very simple, animals which live in water are called aquatic animals. Now here you can add examples to this by yourself. जो पानी में रहने वाले एनिमल्स हैं उन्हें हम एक्वेटिक एनिमल्स कहते हैं. Again, as you can see the image in which aquatic animals are there. Next one, amphibians, animals which live in water also on land are called amphibians. For example, frog or crocodile. Then the image, here you can see the examples of amphibians which live in water and also on land. Next stage, birds are vertebrates. It means that with a backbone. They are the only animals which have feathers. They lay eggs in nest. Not all birds can fly. Then the next one, or the next stage in this, reptiles. Animals which crawl are called reptiles. For example, a snake. And here examples of reptiles. And the next and very important stage of evolution of animals, that is mammals. Mammals are the most evolved. सबसे ज़्यादा evolution जिनमें हुआ है mammals among the vertebrates. And the characteristics of most of the mammals: growth of the baby in the mother's womb for some time before birth, and the baby is fed on the mother's milk for some time after birth. Then the next thing, here you can see the platypus and some species of anteater are exceptions to this. They are considered mammals because even though they lay eggs, because they suckle their young ones. And the next mammals chart. Mammals have body hair that protects them from cold or sun. Mammals have 3 middle ear bones that helps give them good hearing. Females have milk to feed their young. Mammals take care of their young and mammals are warm-blooded. These are the characteristics of mammals. This is just one group. There are many different groups or orders of mammals, and all mammals share some traits. And now apes are somewhat like humans in appearance. कुछ ये हमारी तरह ही दिखते हैं. They mostly lived on trees that we know, and those species of apes which continued to live on trees retained their original ape-like form. So these are the changes with the time. In grasslands, some ape species were forced to move around on the ground. These species evolved gradually and in time gave rise to the human species. This happened first time on the African continent. Now this thing which is very important here to understand about the evolution of human being, because in the next topic we are going to talk about the evolution of mankind, and for that this is the reference that these species apes evolved gradually and in time gave rise to human species. This, then this, then this, and then this, or from this to this to this. And this happened first time in the African continent. The first human species is called primitive man, which means the first. So this was all about the evolution or the concept of evolution, the stages of evolution of animals and the apes. Now in the next session we'll study the topic evolution of mankind. Please subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications. So my dear students, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.